session on Bitcoin, the future of Bitcoin. So I am Ryosuke Yoshida from JFSA. I'm a kind of organizer of this session. And then Kudo-san, Noriyasu Kudo is another organizer. It means we have now 4 participants for this discussion. And it's all up to you, but I guess maybe we can start by the introduction of each other, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about the topics that you would like to discuss today. So thank you. Maybe Taro-san, would you go first if you don't mind?
Oh, shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So sorry. Okay. Well, so this term is future of Bitcoins. It sounds simple, but this sentence has a kind of lot of viewpoint, price, technology, and community, and how we handle it in this society, like economically, regulatory, financially. And also there are so many issues around future Bitcoin, I think. It might be a scattered discussion today, but let's try and have fun. So let's start from self-introduction briefly, and I'll go first. I'm Taro, and involving to blockchain technology and leading tech team at DigiLab, which is around this section in Digital Garage. Me and we DigiLab, especially focusing on Bitcoin technology and community as an organization. Thanks, and happy to be here. Who's next?
Yes, okay. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Junpei Miura from the Japan Financial Services Agency, financial regulator. And I'm in the position of the Assistant Commissioner, especially in charge of the innovation and currently as well as the issue of the sustainable finance. And I was former director of FinTech and Innovation Office with the covers the area of the crypto assets and AI or API, and regulation issues. Of course, this is my background. Thank you so much.
Okay, Horie-san. You muted. Can you unmute? It's fine.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to work in a Japanese bank doing anti-money laundering. And I was interested in these digital currencies. So especially regarding how we can also check the customer because for normal cash, we need to do KYC, but if we don't know the customer, it's difficult to do with Bitcoin. Also, but I thought Bitcoin would grow more, but since the prices fluctuate too much, it's not much used for economically. So I wanted to know what the future of Bitcoin is. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Newman?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name's Kevin. I'm actually working with NIM, which is an alternative coin that's here in Japan, has a huge community. We have a new a blockchain will be launching in December, and a new token we hope will be listed in XYM. My interest is the difference of digital assets and Bitcoin. Bitcoin really is an asset. It's not tradable. In a lot of places, once you buy it, you want to. So one of the things that I'm excited about in Japan and thinking about is how people want to use Bitcoin as an asset asset class versus using digital, a digital economy where you actually everything from P2P to even doing investments to obviously payments or different components. So it's changing quickly, and obviously I hope the Bank of Japan will consider a CBDC, so we can continue to move towards more digital economy. Thank you for everybody's input today.
Okay. Ushida-san?
Sure. So again, I am Ryosuke Ushida, a Deputy Director at FinTech Office of JFSA. And now I am doing research on blockchain governance at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. So one of my interests is about the governance of Bitcoin community. I mean, how they can reach a consensus and how they can update the algorithm of Bitcoin. For example, if something like a compromise of crypto technology has happened, what they can do, so what kind of governance mechanisms exist, and what are the potential challenges when they face such problem. So that's my interest. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Matsuo-san?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Shinichiro Matsuo. I'm a research professor at Georgetown University, and I was the program chair of Scaling Bitcoin 2018 in Tokyo. So I'm working on the connecting every stakeholders and to make that Bitcoin ecosystem more healthier. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so many variety background of us. It's kind of chaotic situation now in just one Bitcoin matter. It will be fine, I think. So at first, freely, shall we speak each opinion or feelings from the viewpoints each of us have, or questions that want to discuss are also fine. Okay, who goes first? I'm glad if you tell your perspective or opinion or question regarding future of Bitcoin first. Anyone? Okay, no one. Okay.
Maybe I go first.
Okay.
So I think Bitcoin community is one of the most robust community in the blockchain ecosystem. So, and then a lot of technological development is ongoing. But many people might think that Bitcoin is kind of old, the initial blockchain cryptocurrency, but now we have a variety of other coins like Ethereum, name, of course, and it has a lot of nice feature like a smart contract. So how the Bitcoin can distinguish from such other millions of other coins? So in my sense, Bitcoin is again very robust community, so the technology developed there can be applied to other blockchain. So it's a kind of catalyst to enhance the, for example, the security of blockchain system, or enhance the capability as a blockchain application to the real society. So that's a kind of one direction that I think is maybe nice for the society at large. Thank you.
Okay. Any have opinion regarding this opinion? Okay, I will tell my perspective. We DigiLab is contributing Bitcoin development research every day, and I know there are so many activities and a tremendous ongoing project. It means Bitcoin is still evolving quickly than we think. I think. So I believe Bitcoin will be the money worth than cash. People say Bitcoin is old or blockchain 1.0 or some kind of things, but as Ushida-san said, very robust community, and it's slowly, but completely strong community, and it's okay. I think it's not future flexibility of like Ethereum, but it's kind of the ideal community style. I think that's my opinion. How about you, Matsuo-san?
Yeah, I think, so I think that from the beginning, the Bitcoin core community, learning from the past history of open source development or history of internet. So they like that word of anti-fragility. So this is also one of the good keywords which express the Bitcoin core community. Yeah, I think that that robustness is important things. But so I have another question on the Bitcoin development community. This is on sustainability. Yeah, so I heard that some of Bitcoin developers about the sustainability of the development because that currently so reward from the Bitcoin is given, so all reward is given to the miners, not the developers. Developers belonging to some company, but so they are so controlling that Bitcoin development outside of the or someone inside that activity of the company. That ecosystem which pay money for the Bitcoin core developer to have that sustainable ecosystem is sufficient at this time. So, but I would like to discuss about that how to make that so Bitcoin core development sustainable enough for a long time.
Yeah, I heard about some excellent developer left the Bitcoin community because of the they cannot earn money because the Bitcoin development is volunteer, so they cannot keep their life only for Bitcoin. So they must left the community. That's the sad story. So I would agree with you, and we need some kind of solution to the sustainability of development Bitcoin. So how do we do? Any idea?
So I don't have, but I think that we need to visit the case of the internet. So internet technology and internet standard are decided at IETF. The IETF is the organization to discuss about the technology and operational standard for the internet technology. But so IETF is organized by ISO, Internet Society. This is one legal entity. And the budget of ISO is provided by many sources. Of course, so there are many money from company, but so they are organizing. So the major part of that, their source of money is coming from the registration fee or .org domain. So if we register .org domain, so we pay money for the registrant, but that money is given to the Internet Society. So this is a huge source of budget of the ISOC and IETA for internet technology development. I think that we need to think about some good ecosystem provide money to provide a neutral money for the community of blockchain development like that. So registration fee or .org or something like that. We need to think about that. So additional ecosystem to provide money.
Yeah, that's interesting. And currently, it's trending. There is some kind of personal company like Square or OKCoin donate to the personal developer. Is there recently recently it's kind of the phenomenon like things. For example, Square Crypt donate the much money to the BTCP server foundation. BTCP server is a payment solution, a Bitcoin payment solution open source project run by developed by volunteers. So the private company is starting to grant and donate to person or OSS community recently. It's the different from the old style supporting of development. I think it's strange. I think it's trend. So
Okay. I have one thing. So, with respect to the sustainability of the ecosystem in the blockchain, especially in blockchain developers community. So, last year, so I just participated the scaling Bitcoin in last year's scaling Bitcoin. So, but I think the we witnessed the very fast-paced, the solution or kind of the new kind of the proposal in the scaling Bitcoin conference. So I feel that very astonished to hear the speed of rapid pace of the innovation in the Bitcoin community. But I think the from the regulator side, so I was very lucky, because I participated in the physically witnessed the current ongoing discussion and technological development there. So, but I think the we how do we how do regulators contribute to the such a kind of idea? Of course, we understanding that many regulators said that we are standing at the tech neutral position, but we are closely looking at the social security issues such as anti countering and money laundering, and of course we one of the fundamental goal from regulators is that we ensure the consumer protection or something. So, but I think how do we involve in the process of the development? So I think we regulators just participated in the discussion, and so firstly we just recognize the situation. But I think we how do we step next for advancing the community development something. So I think I don't have a specific answer to this area. So, I want to hear from the developer side, or from the academia side, so or business side. So
yeah, I think it's not easy, and extremely, I personally feel the regulator side have a developer to develop the Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency. So Miwa-san was participating to the scaling Bitcoin, but it's so rare case of the regulator side. So I think more regulator person from regulator visit or go inside of the community and talk much, and also run development of Bitcoin and actual contribution to the Bitcoin core or some kind of cryptocurrency. Then maybe regulator person can talk with the Bitcoin core developer equally. So with the same language. So it's important for us. It's extreme idea, but it's my best solution in my so far. So I think FSA should grow Bitcoin core developer inside. How do you think, Matsuo?
I have, okay, so number one, so this is a very bad idea that so government provide money directly to Bitcoin core development. This is a bad thing. So Bitcoin core developer won't receive any money from government, obviously. But so I think that this is a role of standard. In the case of other technology like so security or other so information technology, so ISO or other standard play a big role. So for example, in the case of ISO, so ISO is mandated to the government. So government need to allow WTO TBT agreement. So when that government so purchase something or something from the market, so they need to align that international standard like ISO. So this is a reason why so private companies send up persons and take time to contribute to so many technology and operation know-hows to ISO standards. So this is also a good connection between that so industry and government. So industry has so much incentive to provide some resources to create a document. So in the case of cryptocurrency or crypto asset, so if so Bitcoin core developers, so business side and the government or regulators has some agreement that so if that some product align that so common document agreed by all stakeholders, so there's some sort of safe harbor that so regulators so agree with the deploying this product inside that nation. So this is this kind of framework provide so many incentives to work on that standard, and so if there is such kind of standard, so there is so many companies to provide money for that so general activity, and so some venture capitalists or so angel investors or other companies pay common money for the investment of the next generation of technology and standards. So this is one idea to have such kind of ecosystem.
I see. Okay, Mr. Newman. So you're from the NEM community, right?
Yes, NEM Japan. NEM Software.
Yeah, NEM Japan. Yeah. From your perspective, how do you see the Bitcoin or Bitcoin community?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing to say is that obviously it's not competitors or anything like that. This is about the digital economy, looking at a digital basis for doing exchange of value. I completely my background from the U.S. and I think what the professor just said is very important. The role of government is setting standards and making sure that we have a level playing field. Part of my concern with the conversation today is because we're focused on Bitcoin. Bitcoin arguments really it's a little bit past time to talk about Bitcoin development because there's billions of dollars there. The money will be there. I think everyone here probably has heard of Pizza Day. Do you know the Pizza Day on May 10th?
Of course.
Well, that's important to remember that, on Pizza Day, the reason it's celebrated is that somebody paid 10,000 Bitcoin for pizza from Papa John's back in 2010.
Right.
And everybody likes to remember that if you had 10,000 Bitcoin now, how much that would cost. My previous background before working with NEM was with WireX, which is a Visa card where you could use multiple, up to 100 cryptocurrency to pay fiat, whether it be Japanese yen or dollars or other things. And one of the fascinating discoveries we had is that people would not spend their Bitcoins as they should, because it's not an actual currency, it's an asset. So just people would buy Bitcoin. I also know if they spend on, at 7-Eleven, at that 100 yen drink tomorrow could be, be worth 300 yen because Bitcoin goes up. So most people would end up holding their Bitcoins, and so they use the card as much. They did in the beginning because it was very novel, it was very interesting and new. But over time, people stopped using their Bitcoin, and I think that's important because that's what NIM, part of it, now 2,500, I believe, yesterday, tokens can be traded around the world, and so Bitcoin is obviously the most important, the biggest far, but the rest of these tokens, the rest of these blockchains are now offering different means for the digital economy. And I think, we have our own development community that's very robust. You have a very large NIM community here in Japan that has developers for, building on the latest blockchain. Blockchain engineers, obviously Ethereum has a large community, Tezos, Algorand, the number of cryptography departments and obviously in universities are doing very well. So I'm not too worried. I think it's the idea of how we start developing the right legal framework. I think one of the things concerned now is obviously Europe is looking towards the use of national coins. There was a discussion yesterday. I would encourage everyone to last night actually on CBDC and the Bank of Japan, Bank of Canada, and then the EU. Develop for this. Japan, for example, if I use NIM on PayPay, I should be able to do that. If I want to use ETH on to use it on a local payment ID, I should be able to do that. And that's part of a system. And I think that's what we're most focused on. The development side, as long as you have clear rules, the money will come. That's why we have a capitalist system. We have venture capital, we have corporate, VCs, we have obviously you can raise money, having a coin that raises value. So I think the development, I'm not as worried about the development because that's part of our capitalist system. I'm more worried about having standardized rules and a level playing field. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, it's very valuable opinion and perspective. Thanks. And Horie-san, just before Miwa-san mentioned about the anti-money laundering concern, and you said you are in a bank and doing the AML work inside of the bank. So how do you think about that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I used to work in a bank doing AML. Now I'm in a manufacturing company, so
Okay.
I'm not involved in AML directly. But I'm not so. I do not have much information about how Bitcoin works, but I know the price isn't so stable. So if people want to, if people know people need to use Bitcoin to buy things, as Mr. Newman said, I think the price needs to be more stable. Otherwise, it's just like speculation only. So that one, I want to know if there's any movement to make it more stable, or if it will continue to be a speculative digital currency. That's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. My opinion perspective is I think stability of Bitcoin is needed, and hope it will be. But after price goes to the moon, and I mean, I want Bitcoin to be one of the major payment methods in the near future because it's borderless money, high privacy, and democratic, which means there's no company who controls Bitcoin. It's run by each person or organization in community. I think the most important thing is there's no middleman. Nobody can cheat it. But currently, as you said, its volatility is still unstable. So everyone says it's not suitable for payment or some kind of things. And I think if it is increasing, people who own Bitcoin, price will be stable like fiat, I think. So I wish many people own Bitcoin, and it should be. So this is the kind of extreme opinion, but any other perspective?
It's with regard to the kind of the, kind of perspective of the payment method of Bitcoin. So I think we would like to discuss the furthermore about the scalability issues in the Bitcoin. So currently, Bitcoin lacks of the kind of scalability, as you all understand. So I think the currently, Horisa mentions, as Horisa mentioned, the price is very fluctuating. So, but in order to work economically as a means of payment, so I think the one solution could be, or can kind of the ensuring the scalability, because the everyone use as a payment tool in the economy, but currently lack of the scalability issues. So I think the or I think the if scalability issues will be solved in future, so I think the the landscape of the Bitcoin will change. So how do you think the especially in the developers community, so regarding the kind of the scalability issues? So of course the every developers want to technically resolve the scalability issue, but of course the maybe business side or developer side hope to work economically in the society using the scalable Bitcoin. So I think how do you think there's such kind of the perspective?
I think the one word scalability meanings many meanings. I think. For example, the frequency speed of the transaction issue is will be solved by Lightning Network. Today afternoon session, Mr. Draja will come this session, and he made it the Lightning Network, and in focusing on the Lightning Network, it will be so now is so mature, I think, and some startups or person or there's some kind of the e-commerce provider using the Lightning Network to sell their product. So it's not business like technology. I think it's mature, and other scalability technologies also will be mature soon. So now, if for example, the JL use Lightning Network for Suica is the too early to use. It's big company. So, but in the startup level all over the world is starting to use it for their business. So it's not it's not. I personally feel there is no gap, big gap between business side and development side. It will be the part of business soon, I think.
Mind if I respond?
Yep.
I mean, if we're talking about Bitcoin specifically, not Bitcoin as a representative of cryptocurrency, that's important. I mean, you have to remember that if you're talking about at the practical level, I mean, so for example, if you're making a payment using the blockchain, the reality is that, for example, we had one customer who had this issue. We're dealing with solar energy. So there's data from solar panels, for example, in Tochigi, and that was supposed to, once they identified that came from solar energy, then I could then show, TEPCO, for example, that person deserved to have a credit. Well, that transaction took money. It took, NIM's particular case, but it takes money to have that, once the blockchain has been written and then the data is transferred, that's a transaction, it costs money. Now, the difference is if you're using Bitcoin for payments like you're speaking here, today that Bitcoin is worth 11,000, so it'd be 0.000 whatever. But the reality is tomorrow, if it goes to 20,000, that customer's payment just doubled overnight. So this is actually not, this is an economics issue and a business issue. It's not a technical issue. In terms of technology, there's no concern. Lightning Network is a technical application, and that's great. That's that's a very fascinating technical solution. But the reality is economics, and this is where STOs come in. We need to have a better STO framework. Until you have a stable, for example, it could be a Japanese yen stable coin, something where you can pair with other, for example, with Bitcoin or with obviously Ether or NIM or whatever. But until you can stabilize prices, you're always going to have problems with transaction costs. It's not the transaction speed necessarily. So that's important, but that's a technical solution. We already have blockchains that can go up to 10,000. For example, Miyabi, I believe, has said they can go up to 10,000. I understand Symbol is going to be very close to that. So that's a technical solution. In the future, they'll get faster and faster. That's not the issue. The issue is more at a legal framework. Can you have a STO so that the price can be stable? And Bitcoin's price should never be stable. It's an asset. It's like whether it be gold or anything else, it should fluctuate. So it's important to keep the difference between the technical solutions and the business solutions. And right now, I think what we're talking about is an STO solution. Thank you.
Personally, I agree with it. But in Bitcoin community, there is a stablecoin project or other things like CDBC with Bitcoin technology, something like that. So so STO can be done by Bitcoin too, I think. So it's not big differences between their other type of blockchain and the Bitcoin.
So, I mean,
does that make sense for you?
Not really. In the whole, I mean, think about it. If I'm building something on Ethereum network, that has, for example, Sumitomo, Realty building an STO for real estate. That's an Ethereum blockchain. But there is nobody who builds a enterprise application on Bitcoin. That doesn't exist. There's no one that says this new application for payments is based on Bitcoin blockchain, as in how the QR codes work, how do I put the data to the Bitcoin. That's a separate blockchain. And so I think people mix those terms together. One is an asset, just like a NIM or like Bitcoin would be. And I think that's a difference. So you're not building on a Bitcoin blockchain as in the entire business enterprise. So they're two separate, I think, issues.
Do you know the Liquid network? It's built by the Blockstream company.
Of course, yes.
That's the. I think it's the infrastructure based on Bitcoin blockchain, and our subsidiary company, CryptoGarage, developed the settlement on the Liquid network. It's the kind of the OTC trading matching platform. Like
Sure.
yeah. Oh, you know, so it's the maybe first or second use case of the Bitcoin to business, Bitcoin to make a business, I think. So there will be more all over the world. I think it started, I think.
Certainly, I just think there's a difference between settlement, because that's just a different version of P2P. But I think when you look at block applications, yesterday there were, for example, keychain.io. Jonathan Hope had some exceptional presentation yesterday about the layers of digital identity, all the different parts, and those are all critical parts that are added. They're not just a settlement, the part with Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin, I'm not worried about Bitcoin. It'll always be the major driving force for the industry. But I think that's a separate issue on an asset as a digital asset versus underlying technologies.
Right. Okay. Bitcoin is slow. Bitcoin development is slow. I talk too much? Okay. Bitcoin development is slow, and because the Bitcoin developer is feel important about its security, so it's so slow to make the to build a robust system as a money system, and actually, I personally feel the use blockchain except for money or asset trading thing like digital identity or some kind of the complicated smart contract is too early to blockchain, I think. So the Bitcoin community feels same thing, and so it's Bitcoin is the money system. So at first, we should build Bitcoin developers should build a money system first, and second, they will try to make a smart contract thing or the traceability for blockchain or the digital identity in blockchain, some kind of thing.
Maybe we have to stop the discussion because we have only 2 minutes.
Oh.
But, let me say just one thing. It's great to have a variety of types of means of payment or means of investment. Maybe we can use something like stablecoin or CBDC as a mainstream in the future, but still Bitcoin is great because it's totally decentralized. So it's great for refugees, for example, as a means of payment if something happens. So that's great. And then Bitcoin community can be a great place to nurture the technology, which can be applied to a variety of use cases in the future. So that's kind of my understanding. And then from regulator's perspective, we have to ensure that money laundering, anti-money laundering, or some other regulatory compliance. So that's a great discussion point by the multi-stakeholder to find a kind of solution, technical solution or optimal policy framework. So that's my idea. Thank you.
Okay, how many minutes?
It's 1 minute.
1 minute.
You have to choose one person as a presenter. So,
anyone?
Anyone?
I propose Watanabe-san.
Agree.
What? I was doing the facilitate thing, so I couldn't write the memo thing, so I hope any other guys.
maybe Junpei-san, Mia-san, if you wish.
Or Newman, or very active. Newman, are you there, Mr. Newman?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin. Kevin is better. Yeah. Kevin, do you want to make a wrap up?
Yeah, I just well, first of all, thank you for the discussion today. I think it's been excellent. I think we all need to remember that Japan was one of the earliest adopters of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin yen pairing, for literally the first 6 or 7 years was the strongest in the world. It's still obviously Bitcoin looks to Japan, for direction. And so I think we should all be very proud. I'm a permanent resident in Japan, so I'm very proud of what the advances we've had in Japan. I would suggest that if you haven't, read the book by Nakajima-san, After Bitcoin 2, talking about.
I'm sorry, Kevin, to interrupt, but now it's a time to move to the main channel and then.
Sure. I just want to say,
I
future of Bitcoin is very right here. I think we should keep in mind development's going to happen. Japan has a strong development community as well, but also the regulatory side is where we're advancing very quickly. So.
Thank you. Great feedback. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So someone needed to move to the channel. I typed on the chat box. This is our main channel. And then we needed to give just a short summary. Maybe Kevin's summary is good.
So Kevin, could you give a summary for reporting back to the main channel, what we discussed?
Sure. I think the summary would be that there is a lot of concern that the future of Bitcoin is going to be important to have development, to increase the development. Obviously, there was concern that perhaps the Japanese government or government should provide assistance to developers because the developers do not have only the miners at this point. Bitcoin miners are rewarded for the growth of Bitcoin, but not the developers. And for the importance of the economy to be able to use Bitcoin more easily in different ways. So concern about the development of Bitcoin is the key issue. And I think it's probably where we as a whole need to look at the different ways of supporting Bitcoin, whether it be regulatory or laws. Those are the main points.
Yeah,
and I think that's a great summary. So please move to the channel that I typed in the chat box. Do you see the WebEx address?
So
thank you.
Then we will ask Kevin to report back to everyone in the main channel.
Yeah, you should move to the main channel.
Okay.
It's URL in the chat.
Maybe I will check. Kevin is not on the main channel. So Kevin, can you hear me?
Ishida-san, you have administration, so you can change the Mr. Newman's
actually it's a
setting to the main.
No, it's actually totally different channel. So I don't know.
I see. I see. How do we do?
So we need to copy and paste that URL in the chat screen to move to the entire new channel. After the closing this channel, so everyone let us move to the next channel with copy and paste. Think that.
Okay, guys, I'll move to that channel. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. So maybe we can stay here. We don't necessarily need to move to the main channel. So
how do we see their?
It's on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Okay.